Please support the bar by subscribe, and sharing my cast. Follow my social media at Facebook, Instagram, Gab, Parler, BitChute, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, CloutHub, and Rumble, or join my Subscribe Star. Make a donation by clicking on the links on the description box. I am a listener-supported show, so any of the above is greatly appreciated. Help me grow and spread the truth, since the mainstream media obviously does not want to support truth. All links are listed on the description box. God bless you and enjoy.
Welcome to the Speak Uneasy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist, because we are in a different prohibition era.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Speak Uneasy with your host, the bartender. So tonight's random read is going to come off of the book of John, chapter 17, verses 20 through 26. Jesus' prayer for believers. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word, that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me, and the glory which thou gavest me I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one, I in them, and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me, and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. Father, I will that they also, whom thou hast given me, be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which thou hast given me. For thou hast loved me before the foundation of the world. O righteous Father, the world hath not known thee, but I have known thee, and these have known that thou hast sent me. And I have declared unto them thy name, and will declare it, that the love wherewith thou hast loved me may be in them, and I in them. Once again, this random read came from the book of John, chapter 17, verses 20 through 26, Jesus' prayer for believers. Now, oh man, this is going to be a difficult thing for me to, decipher, as my mind doesn't expand that much. I'm a very simplistic person, and the parables that were spoken in that read it's zigzagging a lot. But what I can gather from that is that here's what I see in that read, and this is what I'm taking. So let me start from this. God is part of Jesus, and Jesus is part of God. And he's saying that we are part of Jesus as Jesus is a part of us. So that's how I see it. That's how I decipher what that random read is. But it's only we are only a part of him if we give our full selves to him. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. I'm trying to make sense of it to myself, but the way I see it, the way I read it, is that God is part of Jesus. Jesus is part of God. As Jesus is a part of us, we are a part of Jesus. So take it for what you will, but that's what I gather as far as what that random read was about. So, on to the next thing. So today, actually for tonight, the cocktail that we will be making tonight, I will be making. I mean, it's up to you if you want to follow through and make the same cocktail and my directions. Just if you want to do it together, that's fine. But the cocktail that I will be making for tonight is called the Stinger. So before I make the Stinger, I have a little history on the Stinger. And I got this article from liquor.com, and this article was written by, or actually it was updated. It said updated. It was updated on January 13th of this year by Tim Newsog. Okay, so here we are. Here he goes. The Stinger is a pre-prohibition drink composed simply of cognac and white creme de menthe. The odd couple is quite a pair, producing a cocktail that's sweet, strong, minty, and refreshing. The ideal interplay for an after-dinner nightcap. The exact origins of the Stinger are murky. As just with every other cocktail out there, there's different types of stories for all types of cocktails, which I find really interesting. The origins and stories behind the cocktail is probably the most interesting thing that I like about cocktails. Okay, I'm sorry to interject with that. But it appeared in print at least as far as 1914, when Jacques Straub included in his book Drinks. In the book Imbibe, Drinks historian and author David Wondrich reports that the Stinger is most famously associated with Reginald Vanderbilt. Yes, of the Vanderbilts. In 1923, Ohio newspaper article even credited him with the invention, noting that he was fond of serving them to a guest at his home, beginning 2 decades prior. So it seems we can thank old Reggie for giving us this classic. Vanderbilt's taste for the Stinger solidified its high society bona fides. And for decades, the drink was associated with the upper class. Oh, geez, I feel so snobby right now making this cocktail. It even appeared in the 1956 movie High Society, starring Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby. Greats, man. Those guys were greats. And James Bond drinks one in the 1956 novel Diamonds Are Forever. The Stinger remained popular in the United States inside and outside of pop culture until about 1970s, when it fell out of favor. Stinger recipes vary in proportion, with some drinkers preferring a drier version made with less creme de menthe. Stinger recipes also typically call for the drink to be shaken, an anomaly for cocktails comprising all spirits. This recipe hews classic in proportion and technique, stirring 2 parts cognac with 1 part creme de menthe before straining it into a rocks glass. Serve the drink over crushed ice for an extra dose of refreshment, and you will render the perfect digestive. So once again, this article comes from liquor.com. It was updated on January 13th of this year, and I believe it was written by Tim Newsog. So let's start with making the Stinger. So what we're going to do, this thing calls for equal parts for each, as far as I know. And what we're going to do is we're gonna up the cognac on this one. So tonight's cognac that I have, or brandy if you want to call it, is by Symbole National Brandy de France XO Extra Old. So I'm going to take 2 ounces of brandy. Got 1 ounce in the shaker. Two ounces in the shaker. And we're going to do about an ounce and a half of creme de menthe. Ooh, very minty. One ounce. Half ounce. Next, we're going to go ahead and put ice inside the shaker. Pop the cap on the shaker. And here we go. Now I shook it a little extra longer because I wanted to dilute it a little bit. So that's why I shook it a little bit longer than usual. I've already pre-chilled my glass. Make sure that all that water is out, even though I wanted it a little bit diluted. And now we're going to pour the content into the glass. We want to double strain so we can take the ice chips out while we drink. And now, the moment of truth, the taste. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Okay, so the best way to describe this drink, and this is the best way I can describe it. Let me take another sip, man. Okay. Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's the best way I can describe this. The mint on this is strong. The brandy, you can't really taste it. I get this taste of the mint chocolate chip in mint chocolate chip ice cream. Man, that's kind of cool. So I even read that it pairs well with coffee. So I do have with me a cup of hot coffee as well. I have the Black Rifle Fit Fuel coffee. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a sip of the coffee. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to do this the opposite way. I'm going to take a sip of the stinger and then follow it through with some coffee. So here I go. I don't really taste any. Okay, so the cocktail, yes, followed by the coffee. Like, I don't taste anything with I don't taste the coffee at all. I don't taste anything on the coffee end. So let me try doing this in reverse. Let me try the coffee first, followed by the stinger. No, it doesn't taste any. I don't taste anything. The cocktail, the stinger by itself it's good. It's good on its own. And if you like mint chocolate chip ice cream, bam, that's exactly what I get off of the stinger. So here's to the stinger. Cheers. And on to our show. So today we have two articles that I will be reading. Both articles are going to come from realrawnews.com, and both were written by Michael Baxter. This article was written on April 30th of this year. And before I continue on, I want to reiterate to you people that there are some articles out there that I find that it's unknown if it's true or not. Okay. I don't do this to report on news. What I do is I read these interesting articles and I give my commentary about them. For example, a couple of episodes ago, I read about HRC's military tribunal. And if I remember well, she was sentenced to death. And I read another article about the day of the death, but there is no sauce to it. There's no way I can find out. But it is a very interesting thought just to have, only because we haven't seen her in the limelight. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there that it is your responsibility to do your own research as to find out if these stories are true. My only thing here is I find something interesting to me and I read them and give my thoughts on them. Not to say that these are true or not true. So just want to put it out there before people start accusing me of reporting, because I don't report on things. I just read articles and give my thoughts. That's all I do. So the article reads, Military Preps Podesta Tribunal. The U.S. military is finishing preparations for its case against the next deep state architect to face a military tribunal, John Podesta, whose trial at Guantanamo Bay begins on Tuesday, May 4th. Real Raw News has learned that Vice Admin John G. Hannick, who successfully prosecuted the Judge Advocate General's case against Hillary Clinton. And mind you, I will call these people their real names. As I see. Against Hillary Clinton, will not return for an encore performance and instead delegate prosecutorial responsibility of another JAG official. Unlike Clinton, who was eerily reticent until the moment of her execution, Podesta has talked and cooperated with the military in exchange for leniency. Oh, wow. These guys act so strong, but yet they are so weak, right? Although he won't escape a tribunal and possible lifelong imprisonment, he will elude the hangman's noose. Dang it. I guess justice is going to have to hit him in another way. If it's not going to be in this world, it'll be in the next for sure. I can almost guarantee that, guys. I can almost guarantee that there are plans in his next. There are agents setting up those travel plans for him on his way to the fiery pits of hell for sure. A confidential source with knowledge to the military's litigation procedures told RRN, Real Raw News, that Podesta's tribunal should take less than 2 days. Wow, that is quick, dude. As Podesta is expected to concede to the prosecution's most damning allegations. They include sexual interactions with at least 50 underage children. Sometimes it's hard for me to read these things because I do have I have 2 children, one of which is still a minor and the other is grown already. But just the thought of these people doing these wicked things to these children, taking their innocence, it breaks my heart. Anyways, let me read this article, then I'll give my thoughts. 2 who were ages 6 and 10 at the time Podesta molested them in 2014. Oh, gosh. Are expected to appear at the tribunal via live video to recount stories of how Podesta, Clinton, and a slew of political and Hollywood elites deceptively beguiled them into a world of sex, drugs, and ritual sacrifice. That's hard for me to read. Podesta will be opening a Pandora's box that can't be closed. It sickens me that he's been given a deal. From what I've heard, they strapped these kids to gurneys, locked them in basements, and fed them intravenously with periodically doing blood draws on them. Telling these kids they were auditioning for roles in Disney films. Damn. And then the sexual misconduct. All that, quote, pizza Podesta enjoyed so much. If he adheres to his agreement, names will be dropping. Names will be confirmed, our sources said. Moreover, it's anticipated that Podesta will testify to his knowledge of the murders of Vince Foster and Mary Mahone. Or Mahoney, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. A White House intern who was gunned down outside in the Georgetown suburb of Washington, D.C., Podesta's plea deal also stipulates admitting to his involvement in the murders of Seth Rich and former Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Additionally, Podesta must confess to taking part in Clinton, Obama-inspired plots to assassinate Donald J. Trump. Podesta has admitted he knows about 13 different schemes to kill Trump. 6 were actually acted on, though each was foiled, our source said. In closing, our source said the military has already picked an all-female 3-officer panel to weigh the military's case against Podesta. He could receive life at Gitmo or, however unlikely, be exonerated on all charges. Once again, this first article, actually both articles are going to be from realrawnews.com, and it was written by Michael Baxter. So, my thoughts. First off, there's something to be said about people like this. They present themselves as people who are very strong, of high stature, but when it comes down to really testing who they are weak inside. They are wimps. They will do anything to avoid being punished for what they've done, including sell themselves out to rat people out. There's no loyalty to anything but to themselves. Self-perseverance is what I gather from all this. They just want to take care of them, and that's a problem with that is a problem with a lot of people who delve into the Satanism. It teaches them that it's all about them, right? And this is why when pressure is put onto them, and my choice of words here, when the heat is put on them, they sing like canaries. They have no loyalties to anybody but themselves. They don't care. The next thing I want to talk about is I don't understand why this guy is not going to be executed for what he's done. 50 underage, at least 50 underage children. So what do these children get for justice? They get baggage. They get emotional baggage. They get scarred. Honestly, you can't heal from these things. It's a difficult thing to go through, and I don't know for sure because I've never been through something like that. But to take away a child's innocence and to just abuse them in every shape or form, it stays with them for a long time. And God bless to those kids who's grown and use it as their strength to become better people. God bless those children. And I know that God is with those children that has grown up through something like this. But the majority of kids, it's hard for them. It's difficult for them to live a so-called, quote, normal life. Even when they do find God, it's a very difficult thing because it haunts them. And I can only imagine the pain and the suffering that they've been through. Especially, it says here, man, they were strapped down to gurneys, intravenously fed, and doing blood draws. And then on top of that, being lied to about being in a Disney film. Now, if you guys are aware of what's going on, especially in the entertainment world, you people already know about what Disney's all about. Disney is not, it's not this whole thing that you see on TV or Disneyland. It's a way of attracting young kids to follow them, and then once they get them is when they start working on them, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of these people who were child actors in Disney, and look how they turned out. Drug addicts. They just have a whole bunch of problems with them. So, man, I really hope that this dude, I hope that he says enough to get all these people out, to flush this whole world out of these people who are of stature. They need to be flushed out of here. We don't need them. We don't. Who cares about Hollywood? Who cares about Walt Disney? You know what? Our movement, the Patriot movement, we have a slew of people who have many talents better than these people are. And I'm hoping that with all the talents that our movement has, that they are humbled with the talent. Because a big problem with these big celebrities is that their ego is just too big. They don't give thanks to God for their talents. Matter of fact, they probably sold their soul to the devil and the devil presents them with all these things. Whether it be money, whether it be fame. I'm hoping that in our movement, and when we start changing this whole thing, because it's going to change. It's going to change. We've already have a platform, which there is a platform that I'm in right now that I just did my first live show yesterday, called The Foxhole. And there's just so much talented people there. Many, many channels. And, so far, the channels that I've seen, or the people that have talent that I've seen, seem to be very, very humble people. And I hope that on our side of things, that they stay humbled and always give thanks for their talents to God. Every day I pray and I thank Him for everything He's blessed me with. I don't know what exactly my talent is yet. I have yet to find that out. My guess is somewhere in the music realm, but I really don't know. I do believe that using all our talents is a way to serve God in one way or another, as opposed to getting jobs that we feel we must do. I'm honestly convinced that God assigns us a certain job to do. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this right now. I don't think I'm talented in doing this. I'm just doing it because I was told to do it. So, oh man. But yeah, this is good news, but it's sickening to hear the content of this news, because, man, this guy Podesta the Molestah, man, him and his brother and the Clintons and a whole bunch of them. It's sickening. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a break for now, but when I get back, I have another article that continues on to this, which would be day one of the actual tribunal, according to this article. Okay, so I will talk to you guys after the break. And we are back. So the second article I have is again from realrawnews.com by Michael Baxter. Title reads, Military Revokes Podesta's Plea Deal. Let him hang. Update. Podesta Military Tribunal, Day 1. Representatives of the Navy Judge Advocate General's Office on Sunday informed an incarcerated John Podesta that the U.S. military had withdrawn a plea deal that would have guaranteed him a maximum sentence of life in exchange for having testified against Hillary Clinton. The terms of the now defunct agreement removed capital punishment from the table without the protection of a plea bargain. Podesta potentially faces the same fate that befell Hillary Clinton, death by hanging. Wouldn't it be awesome to see this publicly? I don't know. Maybe that's just my sick mind. I mean, it's not godlike to see that, to want to see somebody die. But when it comes to justice, I think it's a different thing. Especially when little kids are involved, right? I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud. Anyways, onto the article. A confidential source involved in the military's litigation process told Real Raw News that JAG officials spent days scrutinizing statements, admissions of guilt Podesta had given in a close deposition. So heinous were his crimes that JAG expressed remorse for proffering the agreement in the first place. Even though he's not prosecuting Podesta's case, Vice Admin John G. Hannock made the decision to renege. I don't know how to pronounce that word. What do you think I am, a college student? On the deal. He's the one who offered it. The severity of Podesta's crimes matched Clinton's. A lot of stuff they did in tandem together. I bet, man. The stories that I've heard, I guarantee. When you think about it, there's really no reason why he should get special treatment, right? He's a sodomist. That is sick. It says sick inside the kill box. Before breaking the deal, he called Trump, our source said. But Trump, our source noted, rescued himself from the decision-making process as he didn't want his personal feelings of the defendant to interfere with military justice. The military, Trump said, should use its own discretion based on available evidence in deciding Podesta's future. That, and this is one thing I really, really take my hat off for President Donald J. Trump. He does things the right way. Especially after all this attack that he's been getting from that side, he still is gracious enough to let justice play out the way it should, as opposed to making it a personal thing. And that shows a lot of his personality. And I am convinced that God has sent him to do God's work. I'm convinced. I'm very convinced. Very, very gracious man. Very gracious man. I know I still have this article I got to read, but I have to mention this because I know I'm going to forget. But the thing that a lot of these people on the left fail to see about Trump is his graciousness. He's a very just man. Like, he makes the justice system do what it's supposed to, as opposed to taking these attacks personally. And I know part of that is because he knows how business is, and he knows that it was just business for them to do that to him. But at the same time, the way they did it, where they were personally attacking him, they were threatening him, they tried to kill him, his family too. And I can only imagine, because if anybody tried to harm my family, to me, I would take that very personally, and I wouldn't even take that as a business thing. That's just me. But the grace that this man has, my goodness, he has to be sent by God. There is no other way. He's dodged so many attempts. JFK tried to do the right thing too, but look what happened to him. Look how easy it was. But I tell you, God is surrounded by angels. He is surrounded by protectors. So I just thought I'd throw that in there while reading the article. If the court wants him to hang, let him hang, Trump reportedly said. Podesta, our source added, wasn't thrilled at what he termed a last-minute betrayal. So who cares? Dude, you betrayed the whole country, bro. And said JAG never intended to honor its agreement and tricked him into testifying against Clinton under false pretenses. So freaking what, dude? So what, man? You have the tenacity to say something like this after all the lies and all the deaths that you have caused? Who are you to actually say something like this? You don't deserve the right to say anything like that. You have put so many people through agony, and you have put so many kids through pain that is probably never even going to get healed. So I don't think you have a right to say anything like this. You're lucky that you're still an American citizen who has, rights to go through a due process. I don't even think you even deserve that. He berated and beseeched JAG officers, accusing them of violating professional ethics. What the hell do you know about ethics, Podesta, the Molestah? What the hell do you know anything about ethics? The nerve of this guy, man. And swore to seize cooperation. This guy, dude. Podesta's argument was moot. Yeah, it was. He'd already incriminated himself beyond redemption. See, that's another thing about these people. They're so arrogant that their arrogance is their own weakness. They're stupid. No wonder why in those Q posts, some of the posts said these people are dumb. I mean, it's plain and simple to see that these guys are stupid. Their arrogance their arrogance makes them blind. Okay, let me continue. I know I'm doing this mid-read. And his threats of claiming he gave the deposition under pressure fell on deaf ears. How's it feel now? And the tribunal will hear everything on Tuesday, our source said. Podesta's tribunal is scheduled to begin at noon on May 4th. So there it is. Once again, both articles were from realrawnews.com, written by Michael Baxter. This one was published on May 3rd. I know we're already almost approaching the mid part of May, but I found this very interesting. So I think I've said everything about what I thought of this article. And I concur. Let his ass hang. Let him hang. And according to realrawnews.com, Hillary was hanged as well. And her arrogance, the article that I read, her arrogance she was still arrogant even before the noose was pulled. I think her last quote is something to the effect of, "You can't do this to me, I'm Hillary Clinton. Who the hell are you?" They're so caught up with themselves, thinking that they're untouchable. Well, sorry to say, but if you don't line up with Christ, you're very touchable. But hey, I guess if these articles are true, justice is finally happening. It's just a matter of time that these other swamp creatures are going to get theirs. And it would be cool if they kind of did it to themselves. The justice, right? Arkancided. Is that how you say it? Arkancided? Kind of how Judas did it to himself. It'll be kind of cool if they did that. But the way I see it, I think a lot of these people right now, they're very, very self-centered and arrogant. And sooner or later, their arrogance is going to kill them. It really will. It always does. It always does. We've seen this movie before. We've seen the movies. When you think you're too big to be touched, and you let your guard down, you get taken out. That's just the way the movies are, right? Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting article. Very uplifting. If it is true, just a thought in the head, I guess. Something that we all share here in common with the Patriots. We are hoping for justice to be served. And if these articles are true, this is where we're at. And it's finally happening. But there's still many, many swamp creatures that need to pay for the crimes that they have committed. And yes, they have committed treason oh my goodness. They have committed treason to the biggest extent. They hate this country so much. I don't understand. I don't understand why it is that people hate. Why? This is the greatest country in the world. What other country can you go to where you can criticize your own government and not have any repercussions of it? But of course, we're kind of losing that right now. But it seems like the pendulum is kind of swinging. It's like it's still swinging on their side. But you can tell that it's soon to swing on the other side. You can tell. God's presence in this world hasn't been more clear than ever. He has made his presence. And the reason why I say that is because all the things that are stated in the Bible, they're coming into fruition now. Which means his son and him and his son are coming back. I believe they are coming back. It would be such an honor if they are to come back that I just meet them. I know where my heart is. I know where my soul is. I know eventually one day I will. Of course, not in this world, but if it was this world, man, father and son, man, rock stars. So, I wanted to end today's cast with this article and leave you with the thought of what I just talked about. Because even though I don't know if these articles are true, the thought is in our minds. Only because we haven't seen these people in the limelight for so long. But man, if this is true, justice is finally being served. What an awesome feeling. So, with that being said,
the bar is now closed.
I can't help but wonder if I'm under a spell. It's more than a passing notion. I've never fallen with such devotion. I can't help but wonder if it's only a dream. Am I naive or can I believe that things are really as they seem? Can anyone explain how to understand what's true? I know I just can't tame it. I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me, 'cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, but wonder if you wonder about me, 'cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be, 'cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be.